Hello, good evening. Time of the day is 6:12. And at this point in time, according to the calendar that I've put up on my website, www.dynamicstillnesses.com, on the page named Dailies, is the calendar for February. And for the date of 20th is written hara, yeah, or the sacral promontory, so to speak, or the center of gravity of our body, the region where the sacral bone curves in about the region of the lower back to balance the gravity, this centeredness. Spine kind of curves in a little bit and offers a central point, so to speak, for maintaining gravity. Yeah, certain sense. So this would be the sacral promontory kind of brings a balance between left, right, front, back, so that there is when you're dancing, what then helps you maintain a certain sense of balance in the center, like you cannot really say like a centromere of chromosomes, yeah. uh, Say two chromatids come together and there's a centromere. You cannot really say like that, but that wouldn't be too far off the point. I think it's the pelvic girdle which then forms that centromere, because well, so to speak. So let's just say underwear. Yeah, you would wear the belt of your underwear, or kind of the elastic width would be about somewhere about your sacral promontory, and then you have the underwear covering your pelvic girdle. Yeah, so that's kind of, let's just say, sacral promontory, or rather the centromere, kind of, that kind of covers the base. Yeah. Now that is also that's also a reference for Mowgli of the Jungle Book. Also wore a chaddi, underwear. Good, nice frame of reference. George of the Jungle. Yeah. He didn't know he was a human until he met another human. Yeah. So until then, he was growing up with apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, what have you. Okay. Um, I have to get the species right, but of the ape family. Yeah. Now, Hanuman is also talking about of the ape family. You know, God Almighty, Hanuman. Now, having said that, Nirvij Yoga is also about healthy and natural breathing. That's like Hercules. Yeah. Um, my pony flies over the ocean. My pony flies over the seas. Yeah. So bring back, oh, bring back, oh, bring back my pony to me. So this year is also said to be the year of the fire horse. The pony kind of grew up. Yeah. And well, you could kind of think of it that way. Okay, pony is another set of words that which is then talking about mapa, so mopo, yeah, and then ny, like New York. Okay, okay. Let's look at another set of words, yeah, because that would then pony is also referring to the horse. So I was just trying to kind of stretch it a little bit there, but not too much of the point. The thing is, Hercules and Hanuman also in some way refer to the wind, so to speak. Yeah, Herculean task. Hanuman flew over the oceans. Um, yeah, Vayuputra and all of that. So healthy natural breathing, Herculean task. So Nirvana Yoga is also kind of like you can't really say Herculean task, but it is healthy natural breathing. Yeah, it's a holistic um, metabolic process too. Um, like dandelion head in the center, and it's got ball, like lots of string connections, 360 degrees. Yeah. And you can't say holotropic breathing. Well, I don't know what is that actually. So I cannot say it is or it is not. because I can only talk about what I know about. And healthy natural breathing is not just about breathing, it is also healthier metabolism. It also has Tattva Shuddhi, Vishachikitsa, so Phoenix Yoga. Well, it's not just Phoenix, um, it's also Peacock. Yeah, because after all the healthier metabolism, if you're going to refer that to the Phoenix and then being born, there is also the peacock, lots of eyes and cool. And so there's the red pill, the blue pill, there's also yellow pill. Yeah. Uh, Bright, nice and shiny and sunny side up. And yeah. Uh, um, yeah. So there's this sun is also referred to as Surya. So you got the movement like Surya Namaskar. Yeah, that also maintains a phoenix and peacock. And what is yellow? Um, Yellow? I can't say yellow, yellow, dirty fellow. Yeah, because if you don't if you don't maintain the sun or the agni within you good enough, then swaha, your ability to metabolize and your ability to consume becomes a little less. Your consumer capacity becomes a little less, and then you would have diseases. Your ability to digest food may be going into your body, but you're not absorbing it inside. Yeah, or what is going inside is not coming out as in healthier produce. Yeah, or food is going inside, but what you're creating, what you're speaking is all kind of in different stages of getting stuck. Expression is having a little more, having a little concern. Yeah, and then it's about you don't just speak it out somehow. You would have to be prudent as to what you're speaking, where you're speaking. Pay attention to flora, fauna, seasons. Otherwise, your common sense, your prudence is a little off. Your discernment is a little off, which is also what the Gayatri Mantra is talking about. Gayatri Mantra is saying Surya Koti Samaprabha. So it doesn't mean turn on the light. So, babies, for example, the photo flashlight hurts their eyes. So everybody are in different stages of growing up, which means they are like the peacock, lots of eyes, or the phoenix, lots of eyes, kind of. Yeah. So lots of eye. And we don't want to hurt their eyes. Yeah. We have babies, we got senior citizens, all kinds of people. So your light needs to be such that you're kind of looking ordinary. Yeah, just the light is in the house, all nice, beautiful, and you're not too bright. Yeah, it's just skin colored, just doing your everyday stuff and being human, not being a mm, lamp or a lighthouse, though. Not like the sun. The sun has work. We have human body work, which is how humans are like. There's this idea of karna, kavacha, and kundala. So your skin is all becoming like goldenish. Yeah, Swarnameni, wedding ceremonies and all, they apply gold makeup, which is to represent this idea that when you're metabolizing healthier, your skin tone also gets a certain gold because the truth, your care matures to love, matures to true love. And that has a certain, it's like gold. Gold doesn't just form out of nowhere. You're, you ennoble from crude to um, gold. Yeah. Malleable, ductile, but then not, but then maintaining the clarity, the carrot. Yeah. And so carrot quality. Yeah. Such that temple quality. Yeah. So sacred. Now that also requires light because the gold doesn't get pure out of nowhere. It requires a light there. So yellow in that sense. Yeah. Surya Koti, so Surya Namaskar going on. When the Agni can be quite fiery. The elephant is said to have been cursed at some point. I don't know. Agni was cursed, and then Agni went and hid in elephant's mouth, and and the tongue was kind of twisted, or there's some mythological story about it. And then, so which is also tongue tie and such references. So it's not a cursed tongue. It is every human has a tongue, and our ability to speak the truth is also what the Nilakanta is referring to. When our truth is in some way held inside That's about the region of the throat. It's also called the Vishuddha chakra. What we speak, how we speak, is it making things better? Is it enlivening life in the multiverse? Or is it causing trouble? So, accordingly, is the fire in your tongue fire horse? How is the fire? Is it enabling swaha? Like when you, swaha is in Vedic chants, they tell a chant and then they say swaha. Swaha is also said to be Agni's wife or complementary partner. But without swaha, what the food we eat cannot get consumed, because if the fire is too fiery, then the ingredients, proteins, vitamins, etc., gets burnt off. Swaha turns that around, turns the elements around, such that it can be consumed better and forms um, products in the body, which then ennobles. I call it elizabolism. Yeah. Otherwise, you are just eating food, but the essence of it may not be going into your body the way it needs to. So, when you're drinking water, water also tastes sweeter because your substance is gotten finer, such that even water also tastes sweet. Okay. Now, how is all of this related with the center hara? When we are maintaining our center of gravity, center of your being, center of, like the central dot of Sri Chakra. Sri Chakra has a dot in the center. The hara is also similarly maintaining the center of gravity. Now, in today's um, live, I invite you to try and bring your attention to the region of your pelvis, or rather, the region of the left and right sides of your hip. Okay? Now, hip joints are the region where your legs attach with your pelvic girdle. Okay? Try moving your legs. If you're sitting, try moving your legs up and down. You'll be able, and pay attention to the region of your hips. You'll be able to feel something as to where your legs are moving, because the legs are connected with your pelvic girdle. You're likely to feel that joint when you move your legs, because your legs would move because there are bones in your legs. Your thigh bone is connected to your pelvic girdle at the pelvic joint. Like you have shoulder joints, try moving your arms. There's a socket. Similarly, your thigh bones are connected with the pelvic girdle at a socket. Now, why am I talking so much about that joint? Because while I'm talking about it, if you're feeling irritated, if you're feeling impatient, while your attention may be about the region of the pelvis, that irritation may be coming from the tension in your thigh muscles. Now, why is that important? Fight, flight, freeze responses are very closely related to your muscles in your thighs. Human beings stand upright on 2 feet and we use our legs to move, whether we are afraid, whether we are angry, we want to fight, flight, or freeze. Our thigh muscles involuntarily jerk. Yeah, it's like an instinctive knee jerk response. Similarly, thigh, this is not a knee jerk, but this is more like a thigh jerk. Yeah, subconsciously, unconsciously, they bunch up. There will be this tendency to just move in some way, run or fight, like freeze. So trauma therapists would talk about incomplete movement. Some response where you wanted to run or you wanted to fight or you wanted to just freeze could not be completed. So it's like you getting all dressed up, but nowhere to go. You're all dressed up, but you haven't gone to any place. So your muscles are like all ready to run or to freeze or to fight, but that action did not show up. So all ready for, like Spider-Man, all ready for the next move, but that next move didn't come. Yeah. So when I'm talking to you about your thigh muscles, thigh bone related to your hip joint, and you're feeling irritated or wanting to run or feeling impatient, That's because your thigh muscles may not have had their moment in time, their moment of the day, where your thigh muscles got your attention. Okay? It may be very irritating when I'm saying this. Your your bum muscles, your pelvic muscles, your thigh muscles may all be in already kind of a little irritated, or yeah, different kind of experiences, not nameable. Yeah. Or if I'm going to say it, you might even notice your jaw tightening, because there would be a corresponding response between your thigh and your jaw. Yeah. Your jaws may be tightening up in some way, because that's also related with anger and unexpressed concerns and several other animal instincts. That's not a bad thing. Animal instincts is not a bad thing. But the thing is, those instincts never really resolved, and hence you may be having a difficulty being as humane as you'd like to be. Not that you are not humane. It's just that inside there is an instinctive response from your nerves and muscles being coordinated in a particular way. This is subconscious, unconscious, or even supraconscious responses where you can't even access them. Okay? If you notice a tendency for your jaw muscles bunching up, or your thigh muscles bunching up, or your muscles around your pelvis bunching up, then we're talking about a region just below the sacral promontory or the hara region, um, imbalancing the equation between the upper part of your body and the lower part of your body. Okay? So your ability to sit for a long time, or your ability to stand for a long time, or your ability to sleep either supine or prone or on the side where you'd want to constantly move, they would all be coming from this pelvic region, your bum, your pelvis, your thighs, upper part of your thighs, all going through a little bit of unexpressed or unrelaxed or unattention paid to. You haven't been able to pay sufficient attention to this region. Also, maybe because of, let's just say, marital concerns. Yeah. And you've never really relaxed your pelvis, never really relaxed your thighs. Yeah. Your bum, which means you're in a constant tension state. Yeah. Like you go to work and then you relax. So you may be constantly kind of tight. Yeah. Loaded, so to speak. Not loaded, but it's just your muscles are bunched up. You've never really relaxed or thought that these muscles need relaxation. Okay. And so your center of gravity is always in a fight, flight, freeze mode and surviving life. Okay. Never really living life in this moment, because the moment your center of gravity is in past space experience, no matter what that experience has been. Yeah. And so your ability to be in the present moment, to sit, stand, lie down, um, listen to somebody, because your ear is also your center. Okay, you also have your psoas muscle. Your psoas muscle is also related with relaxation from stress and tension, because the psoas muscle is also connected with several internally important regions of your body. For example, that your diaphragm, yeah, sort of connected there. So your psoas muscle may not be able to relax. If you go to trauma therapists, they will say vagus nerve, so psoas muscle, they all need relaxation. Otherwise, you could also get inguinal hernias from how tense this region could be. Yeah. So your ability to manage stress, your red blood cell corpuscles uh, properly able to take in oxygen and regularly going through that cell cycle, because your spleen manages your red blood cell metabolism. So those responses may be tensed up because your pelvic region is managing unresolved tensions due to whatsoever reasons. It could also be your boss is always striking at you or screaming at you. And you can't run, you can't stay, you can't fight, you can't fly away, can't freeze. Somewhere in between. So always in a state of constant tension in somewhere. Yeah. So those may be affecting. So what can you do for this now? Bring your attention to the region of your hip joint. Okay. Now, you may be sweating about the region of your pelvis. Pay attention to the softness of your tissues, about your thighs, about the region of your pelvis, tissues of your pelvis. Now, to help your hara region relax, you're going to have to do a little up and below, yeah? Kind of. Because otherwise, your center of gravity, it's kind of like icing on mud cake, icing on cow dung cake, so to speak. You would want to pay attention to your hara, but your ability to be is tensed by the tension in your muscles, okay, in your pelvic muscles. Now, you would say we can just work with the hara, but there are some details here. For example, your ability to be aware. And the hara is also related with nerves. And so I'm kind of speaking like a physician from the VA hospital, Veterans Administration, VA hospitals, war veterans. Without addressing one part, if you're going to address the other, you're not really able to work with issues that may be arising around there. Yeah. Or I could say I'm making an excuse, but it's more like since we're anyhow working around this region, we might as well, relax the other regions too, because then we would have a few more humans who are not so tensed and who can actually sit on a chair and actually have a conversation. And people who they may be interacting with, having a conversation with, will have a more present person. Yeah. So while we're working on the hara, we might as well just, have a little more settled humans. Yeah. So that would bring a little more healthier natural breathing for people who's sitting, people around, family members, community members. You're sitting in a restaurant because you're more settled. People who sit around in the restaurant would also be more settled because that's one person who's less tense. Yeah, okay. Now we can look at the hara. I don't know if that's going to work right now, but let's see. Yeah. So bring your attention to your hip bones, yeah, about the region of your hip, your pelvic girdle, the hip region, the joint where your hip bones are, left and right sides, and try shifting in your chair, left and right sides. So you can feel where your hip bones are managing the weight of your body between the left and right sides. Yeah, because your pelvic girdle is not a fixed thing. They can adjust along with your hip bones and with your sacral bones. So your sacral bone, your related with your spine and your tailbone below, is is very finely related with a set of ligaments with your pelvic girdle. So when your pelvic girdle is moving, you say left and right, when you're shifting your weight, your hip bones are also moving in a kind of related, it's like a swing, related joints, links, and also your spine. So if you're just shifting your weight between left and right, your thigh bones are getting exercised because the muscles are connected to them, ligaments are connected. Your pelvic girdle is also getting a little exercise, slight shift. And your spine is also getting a little exercise because your spine needs to maintain that curvy kind of a movement. While you're moving between, just shifting your weight between left and right, if you're aware of your spine is also making a slight curvy kind of a movement all the way. You could feel it all the way to your neck and also your head because your spine and your skull is all related. Your head is all related. Yeah. Slightly shift your weight between left and right. And then, now this gets a little tricky. Try and bring your attention to your lower back. Now, this region may seem a little dense, or you can't feel it, or it's a little painful, or it just feels like a block, yeah, like a thick block of something, or it could feel heavy, okay? Because a lot of the weight of your body, upper and lower, is in some way managed by this around the sacral promontory because it forms this kind of center of gravity, so to speak. Yeah. So you could experience um, a sense of sluggishness, like you just want to just sleep off. Yeah. Because this region connected with your head um, through your spine has a very interesting relationship between, it's called a craniosacral relationship. Cranium is the skull, sacrum is your sacral bone of your spine. Yeah. So if it feels a little sluggish, or if it feels a little dense, or you're seeing dark, yeah, your visual sense seems to go a little dark. That could also be because of the amount of tension your lower back is experiencing. So much so that you would kind of black out. But it's not really a blacking out, it's just sensorily a little too heavy, or a little too dense, or just unnameable sluggishness, unnameable tiredness. It's a different kind of a tiredness. Could be, okay? And try and move front and back. Very lightly swing. Yeah, slightly move front and back. Like if you have a child and you would try to soothe, how consider yourself to be that child. Yeah, kind of. It's not visualization. I'm just giving an example. Like if you're going to soothe yourself for some reason, and you would move front and back, that would bring a little bit of a relief in the region of your lower back, or help you be a little more aware of this region of your lower back. Let's just say, try and bring attention to the softness of the tissues of your lower back. Okay? And um, the front of your pelvis, or the upper part of your pelvis, that is the lower part of your abdomen before your pelvic girdle begins. So that's like the front and back, sort of, about the sacral promontory, thereabouts. But if you can be aware of your tissues, about the front and back, about the sacral promontory, kind of, the upper part of your pelvic girdle or the lower part of your abdomen, yeah, lomus, that would be about the region where your sacral promontory is. And if you can move, say, side to side, shifting your weight between the left side and right, and also sometimes just moving, changing the pace front to back. So a little bit of left to right, front to back would help bring a little more awareness to this region of your body, or at least it will help relieve some of the tension. So since we are just warming up to what Nirbija Yoga is, and Nirbija Yoga is movementless yoga, which now this is more less movement yoga. Yeah. There is also no movement yoga. But to come to that, you would have to be aware of the different parts of your body. So we can't go to no movement yoga. You can't even feel your sacral promontory. You can't feel your muscles. And when you feel your muscles, you want to run away. So that's not going to quite help in what I'm calling as no movement yoga. So since we are in the beginning and kind of getting familiar with what I'm talking about, we will do less movement yoga. Yeah. While it is also, while what movement less yoga means is, we will come to that slowly. Yeah. Our understanding of it will, we would be more cognitively aware or more readier. so to speak, because you would be more aware of the paradigm of thinking that I'm calling as movementless yoga or no movement yoga. So less movement yoga, movement less yoga. Movement less yoga can also be awareness, yeah, but not necessarily no movement yoga. I can do movement less yoga, but through awareness, but that need not be no movement yoga. Okay, these are different layers, depths of it. So yeah, what does no movement yoga be? That will be more a little bit more circadian rhythms. That would be more samaya based. So finer details. So that's not very. A lot of people are not even aware of their muscles, or about where the bones are, or where nerves function, or so several details. So I don't know where people are. So I think it is safer to just go to basics of it, just be aware. So I'm talking in terms of less movement yoga. So if we can just be aware of our body, that would still be good. But if you're benefited from this, these are, I'm speaking from the paradigm of no movement yoga, kind of samaya based, but several layers, degrees of it. If you're interested, do contact me. We can do a one-to-one or group work. That would also help. But if I can see you, then I'll know what's the level of learning you're in. What's the degree of learning you're in. And so in my school, learn.dynamicstillnesses.com, I'm slowly putting up content. Yeah. But I was thinking to have regular webinars within the class cohort to then be able to see where different people are and then what all content do I need to put so that it becomes easier for people to move through stages of development. So I'm developing my community. So if you'd like to be part of that community, just click on learn.dynamicstillnesses.com, dynamicstillnesses.com, and click on the button, join the community, and I'll be able to inform you um, as different developments are coming up and according to what you're more ready for. Once we interact a little bit, I'll be able to gauge what would best suit you. Um, so I hope live, this episode has been of value to you. To let me know in the comments um, how you're doing, how has this episode been, what value is this bringing to you, what would you like to see more? Yeah. Um, Thank you so much for joining me. Good day.